Hey guys, this little tutorial is going to be pretty short and sweet. It's all about reusing a reservation that has been created in Renovo and some of the pitfalls you might run into when you're reusing that reservation. Uh, if you haven't seen my video yet on the using the iMacros to make your life easier when it comes to repetitive tasks, you might want to check that out. I'm going to use the my Renovo iMacro to log into the site, and I'm going to demonstrate using it to copy a reservation as well as doing the reservation manually. So I'm going to click on my little Renovo iMacro shortcut to log in, and you'll see how easy it was instead of having to type that in every time. And as you can see, I have quite a few events going on right now. And right now I have my default screen set up to not show any canceled reservations. But if for some reason you wanted to see them, click on that box and everything that's been canceled will show up in the dark maroon. So in order to copy a reservation, you can either click on one of these that you have on your current screen, or you can navigate to the previous date if you know what date it was being held on, and you can click on it and load it up by hitting the checkbox, and you just click copy, and it pulls all the data in from the previous reservation. Now, oftentimes it's much easier to do a search to find your reservation that you want to reuse rather than trying to remember what date it was on. So let me go back to my main calendar here. And to do a reservation search, you click on the load reservation link. And as you can see, the page is pretty basic. The thing you want to watch out for here is the date, the start date. This is your search range. And so as you can see, it goes back approximately 11 months in search range. And oftentimes my reservations that I'm reusing are much older than that. So I usually switch this to 2010 or earlier before I do a search. And let's see here, one of my old searches, TCP. Let's see, yes, I know that's the title of one of my older ones. And if you start typing in the box, it'll try to help you out by listing any events that were starting with those letters. See, for example, if you just put in T, it puts in all the old reservations that I've made based on the letter T. So let's go with Texas, since that's pretty simple. And now the key here is not to hit the enter key, because if you hit the enter key, it's going to bring you back to this page and you're not going to have your search results. So you always have to click on the search button. And here is everything that has the word Texas in it. Let me scroll down just a little bit so you can see the list. And as you can see, there are lots and lots and lots and lots of events I've had over the past 3 years that have the word Texas in it. So let me just randomly pick one here. And as you can see, it pulls it up. And in order to copy this one, you just hit the copy button. And as you can see, it loads up the page with all the old settings. And here are some key things you need to look out for. And one of the mistakes I made in the very beginning was not matching the date to the day of the week. It doesn't give you a warning if you make this mistake, but if, say for example, 0806 fell on a Monday and you have Tuesday checked off here and you try to save the reservation, then this whole thing is going to fail. You have to match the date with the correct day of the week, otherwise you will lose your settings and you'll be starting all over again and you can't figure out what in the world's going on. So let me set the date range, and the easiest way for me to do the date is to click on the calendar, hit today, and if it's a future date like the 10th, then change it to the 10th and do the same thing for the second panel. Now if it's multiple days, you can actually change that, say, to the 12th. So if you're going to have it running through this range of days, then you would need to check off the actual dates here, like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I didn't check to see what date the 10th fell on. So the 10th falls on a Tuesday, and the 12th falls on a Saturday. Is that right? No, the 10th is on a Thursday. There we go. So you have to uncheck all these: Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Otherwise, if I had a wrong day anywhere in here, this initial generation of the copy would fail. And if you don't want to use the same rooms over again, you can always uncheck them. And the third thing I want you to look at is the time. As you can see, I want to reuse my start and end times, but the duration is incorrect. So the only way that this duration will be correct is if you click in one of the boxes. You can click in any box. Like for example, if I click on 7:55 and then I click on the next box for 4:30, you'll see that the time has changed. And again, Renovo doesn't give you a warning about this. So if you have the correct dates and the correct days checked off and hit generate, you will generate this event. But unfortunately, it will only be for 35 minutes. It won't be for your full time range. So you do have to make sure that you've clicked in these boxes so that it registers that there was a change and the default time is overwritten. So now I'm just going to click generate, and you'll go into the screens where you can go do the normal reservation settings, like selecting rooms, setting up your MCU tab, and then finally saving the reservation. Now this right here almost always pops up, and don't worry about it because these are all past dates in the original event, and this will think that you're trying to reuse those dates until you've actually validated the reservation. So you can ignore this for the moment because it will go away once you've validated the rooms and if they're not already in use. So you can go in here and select rooms, and you want to verify that your rooms are in there. And for example, if I wanted to add an IPVCR, do a search for it, and since I know this event is being held in a workshop room, then normally I put those on MCU1, and I stick with the convention of putting the IPVCR1 on MCU1. So let me just add that and click next. And just want to make sure that the MCU1 is correct. So I know that this event is going to MCU1 because that's in the title bar up here. I know the conference layout is copied from the previous conference, so it's already set for a 1x1 viewing screen, this full screen setting. And I have the old TE10 IPVCR folder set from the previous event. And there's no numeric ID in this one. I don't expect anyone to be calling in, so I don't need to put a numeric ID, but if I did plan on having people dial into my bridge instead of me dialing them, then I would need to set a 4-digit ID on here. And the bit rates, I like to give my rooms as much bandwidth as possible, so normally I try to connect at 768 since most of the schools can. And this will set it so that it will try to connect at 768, but if they can't handle that speed, it will throttle down. So that's a pretty good setting for the rooms that I have in my system. Now that I've verified everything is correct on here, I will click Finished. And as you can see, the conflict error message is gone. And the next step is to validate each one of these. And as you can see, I'm still waiting for Renovo to validate the conferences and return my email confirmation screen. And there it goes. And depending on how many conferences I'm trying to create at one time, it can take from a few seconds to 15 to 20 minutes, especially if it's a semester long class that happens 5 days a week and goes on for 4 to 5 months, like my Spanish classes, which will run from January all the way through June. Those classes, when I create them, will take about 20 minutes to validate. So oftentimes when I'm first beginning a new semester, I only create enough classes to go either 2 weeks or 4 weeks because there are quite a few changes, and they modify their times by a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And I have rooms that are being added and dropped that whole time. So rather than build a big reservation that takes 20 minutes to be recreated every time, I'll just build a shorter reservation, and after a few weeks, the classes are pretty well set up for the rest of the year, and I will go ahead and build out the remaining months using this copy feature. And as you can see, I did return some problems, some conflicts, and for some reason this Woodville High School room is already in use, but this is not important because this is just a, a, a copy demonstration, so I'm going to be canceling the reservations anyway. But as you can see, you can see the details for the conflict, and you actually click on the room detail and see that this is already in use in conference 204410. So I can go back into the calendar and look at this date and see why this room is already in use and figure out whether or not I can actually use this room or if I need to get a hold of Woodville to find a different room to use. So let me go ahead and cancel these. I don't want to leave them in my system. And go up here to cancel the reservation. You click on the X up here in the upper right hand corner, and you can either cancel the entire reservation or cancel the selected conferences. And I choose just to cancel the selected ones. And it wants to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Fortunately, they give you this little warning window. And click on OK. And it'll take another couple of seconds for it to go through the room cancellation process. And it is done. Those rooms should be canceled now, and they're all gone. As a little add-on to this, I would like to show you how to use my iMacros that I created to skip some of the typing you would have to do normally to do a reservation copy command. And in this case, my little iMacros was created so that once you're logged in, it doesn't matter which page that you're on in Renovo. As long as you're logged into Renovo, my little macros will run. And it's up here on the toolbar. And it's just called reservation. So let me run it. And what it's going to do is it's going to load the load reservation page, and it's automatically going to type in the date search range for me. So I don't have to worry about remembering to put in the correct date range. So let me run it. And it's loading up. And that's how quick it is to get to the load reservation page. And I do so many copies of older reservations that this is a real time saver, and it just really comes in handy. So that's why it's the iMacros training videos can be of a real good help. So as you can see, it has already loaded in my date of 2010, and I went ahead and put a future date of 2015. So it will capture the more than the range of dates that I know that I've already built in the past and in the future, because once I get past 10/17 2015, then any events that I created after that, I won't be able to search to find their titles. So hopefully I've put this thing far enough into the future that I won't have to worry about this for a while. So once again, go into the search box and I'm going to type in T, and let me pull up a Texas event again. And remember, you must click on search. If you hit enter, it's going to basically not do your search, and you're going to have to go back in here, put your dates back in and your search criteria all over again. So let me click on search. And once again, it pulls up every event that has the word Texas in it somewhere. So there are quite a few. And that's as far as I'm going to take this, because everything else is the same. Once I've double clicked on an event, it's going to bring it up. You hit copy, and then you make your changes. You set your date, set your time, verify that the duration has been changed. Make sure that you have the correct days of the week checked off, whether you're doing just one day, like 10/07/13. Make sure that's Monday here. Make sure you got Monday checked off here, and you've unchecked any other days that you aren't going to be reusing. And from there, you can generate it. And as you can see, I made an error somewhere. Let me try once again. Click today, click today. Oh, I see what my error was. My start time is actually before the time it is right now. So I was trying to create an event that was going to start today when it's actually 10:07 my time. I was trying to start an event that was going to start at 7:55 a.m. So let me change that to 11:55 a.m. just for demonstration purposes. Click on generate, and now it's okay. Now I can go into my select rooms, then I can go into the MCU tab, make any changes I need to make here, change my bit rate. Once I'm satisfied that everything here is okay, that my total MCU usage, including this event, is good. In this case, it's 34%. If I'm hitting upwards of 80 to 90% total usage, I usually will migrate the event over to MCU2 by hitting the move button, and it will move it into MCU2. And you'll have to go back down here and verify that all the settings stayed the same. And I click finish. The only thing left to do is hit validate. And I'm not going to do that because I don't really want to make this event and then have to go in there and cancel it. So let me get back to my main page, and that is it. That is how you do a simple reuse of an older event. And as a bonus, I threw in how to use the iMacros to make many of the steps that you would have to manually do automatic. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you got something out of it.